Yo, this is Rich Latta from One Nation Radio. This is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We present to you the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin' It Strong Style. Let's go. It's the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin' It Strong Style. Covering New Japan, they ready to hold it down. Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Josh. Come and hit a job out and bury all the frauds. From Tokyo Dome over to the G1. Social Suplex is the network where we can get it done. I'ma chill and let them have it, cause this is just an intro. Keeping the strong style, 6 stars from the get-go, boy. Yeah, from Tampa Bay to the Tokyo Dome, this is Keeping It Strong Style with your hosts, Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Joshua Smith. And thank you for listening.
Welcome to Keeping It Strong Style here on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Jeremy Donovan here alongside the young boy Josh Smith. We want to thank you for downloading and listening to another week of Keeping It Strong Style. Josh, the numbers don't lie, and Keeping It Strong Style is getting over.
Regionally. Regionally, no.
We're
nationally,
getting
internationally.
We're international, man. You look at the some of the.
We got people listening from overseas and everything. It's
we do,
crazy.
Man. It's crazy. The whole Social Suplex Podcast Network is growing. All the shows are getting decent numbers. We're getting international audiences.
I mean, we're going to talk about, obviously today we're going to talk about Fantasticamania, but we were sitting in my living room in Strong Style. What is the name of it?
Strong Style Studios.
Is it Strong Style Studios or Strong Style Central? What is it?
Strong Style Studios.
I want to call it the dojo.
Strong Style Dojo.
Yo, but we're like, life is so weird. We're watching a bunch of Mexican wrestlers from this part of the world wrestle in Japan on tape delay in America, and then like messaging our friend like a few like I don't know miles down the road about this match that like we're like, dang, this match with freaking like Star Junior is amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's just it's nuts that you guys are out there listening to our podcast, you know, overseas and domestically. I mean, we really appreciate it. We're getting like a lot more downloads than I ever anticipated or thought we would be.
Yeah, it's wild, man. And we just want to thank everybody who's been leaving ratings and reviews. As you know, right now we have a contest going on. If you leave a rating and review and send it to us, you can email me, Jeremy, at socialsuplex.com. That's Jeremy, Jeremy, at socialsuplex.com. Email me your rating and review. You'll be entered into our contest to win any wrestling t-shirt of your choice. So if you are selected as a winner, you can choose a shirt from Pro Wrestling Tees, WWE Shop, whatever wrestling shirt you want, and we will get it for you.
You can get it straight from the New Japan store, and we will pay the shipping.
Right.
The extra shipping to get it all the way from... No, we're not doing it. Just get it off Pro Wrestling Tees, guys.
Yeah, make it easy for us. But yeah, the contest goes until January 31st, so you still have some time to get your ratings and reviews in on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher. But yeah, do that. Help us out. We help you out.
Are those the two places where we can be listened to?
Yes, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. You can also find us on TuneIn Radio, Google Play. Pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can find us now. Pretty soon we should be up on Spotify as well. So the network is just booming all over the place.
We're the Austin Aries of podcasts right now. We're going over everywhere we go, day one.
That's right, yeah. There's a reason why they call us the Ace of Podcasts.
You know, we don't put over enough the fact that we're the Ace of Podcasts. I freaking love that nickname. It's hilarious. Oh my God. So what are we getting into today?
All right, so we're going to be covering Fantasticamania Night 1. By the time this podcast drops, Night 2 and Night 3 would have happened. We're going to cover those on next week's show. So tonight we're just going to be mainly talking about Fantasticamania Night 1. Josh, what was your overall thoughts on the show?
I was pleasantly surprised. I expected the show to be fun, and I expected it to be like very, good, because they always are every year. But I mean, they're always kind of like throwaway matches, and it's not anything that you really have to see. But it seemed like those guys went out and kind of put out the extra effort this year. And I mean, hey, if Rich Ladd is out there listening, this show was made for that guy.
Yeah.
Nothing but flips and
no selling.
This card was awesome. Even like, I don't know, where do you want to start? You want to start at the top? You start at the bottom? Like,
we'll start from the bottom and work our way up to the top.
Started from the bottom. Now we're here.
And I have to admit, this is my first time watching Fantasticamania. So
was it your first time watching CMLL?
Pretty much. I mean, I've seen these CMLL guys in New Japan before and Ring of Honor shows, but I've never watched a full CMLL show or Fantasticamania. So
yeah, we're gonna mess up and start doing a CMLL podcast.
I know. Keeping it lucha style.
Yeah. The Lucha Libre Express. I get to name the next podcast. We have another one after this that's lucha based. I'm gonna name it something dope. I don't know what, but
okay. So Fantasticamania Night 1, January 19th, opened up with Fuego versus Akamora.
So tonight, me and Jeremy, we were at Wing House, and we're sitting there, and Rich was supposed to come watch this show with us, but he kind of bailed out because he said he's feeling sick. Next thing I know, I get a text message. He's like, "This Fuego Okamura match is raw," and I was like, "I know why it's raw, because there's just flips
and no selling."
But no, this match was really cool. Fuego came out there looking like Mexican Macho Man Randy Savage, riding this like
dragon thing, right?
Dragon, yeah.
Puff the Magic Dragon.
Now, one thing I will say before we get started, kind of reviewing the matches, something that did really deter my interest in the show, and I know it affected you as well, Jeremy, is just the freaking copyrights on the music.
Yeah. Apparently, all these CMLL guys use all these copyrighted music that New Japan's not allowed to stream on New Japan World, so we just get these awkward silences for everybody's entrance.
Yo, but we're streaming this on delay. Like, just put in some music, man.
Right. At Wrestle Kingdom, they did it. They dubbed in music for those who had copyrighted music. So for this show, you think they would do that, or they would just use New Japan music.
Yo, after Kidani was talking about like how they're making more money now with the new subscribers and everything, they're gonna be able to bring in new wrestlers. I'm like, nah, man, just freaking put some music over the dead spots in these shows. It pisses me off to no end.
Jim Johnston's not doing any work for WWE anymore, right? How about New Japan hire him and we get some, original music that they can use for these guys?
That would be great, actually. I'm sure it'd be really good.
Yeah.
But that kept taking me. That was the only like real big complaint. Well, at that and the freaking officiating all night. Like,
New Japan's officiating. We've touched on it.
Oh my god,
all time.
I'm never gonna stop talking about it until real change is made. I want my voice to be heard by New Japan.
Well, hey, we either have good officiating or good wrestling, and I think I'll take the good wrestling over the good officiating.
I want both, man. I want both.
I don't think we can live in a world where there is both.
So anyway, Fuego and Okamura started. There's some guys on this card that I've seen wrestle at like Fantasticamania shows. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the foremost expert on lucha. I'm not Dr. Lucha or anything like that. I'm not Dave Meltzer watching, Arena Mexico shows every Friday night or anything. But Akamura is a guy that's from All Japan, I guess, originally, and he's sort of like the resident, Japanese talent over there in Mexico. And anytime someone comes in from like New Japan or, from the Far East, they always tag team with him and travel with him. So he's kind of like, that's his role, I guess, similar to sort of like what Funaki would be in WWE at this point.
Gotcha.
But man, this is for like a little 6 or 7 minute match. This was really good.
Right. Yeah, it was a solid opener. One of the highlights for me, Akamura did a running Tower of London out of the corner. I thought that was
that was really cool. Yeah, the way he just kept running without him and just dropped him.
Right.
The Tower of London, is that
Nigel McGuinness's? Yeah.
Yeah. When did he do that when he was in
Ring of Honor?
Or was that what was his other name?
Desmond Wolfe.
Desmond Wolfe. I didn't know if that's
He did it in both places.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, too, Akamura being a real heel out here, getting heat, slapping his wife.
Well, I don't even know who she is. I wonder, is she his wife?
According to my notes right here, it says that that's his wife.
Oh my god. Remember back in WCW, who was it that was like the guy who was always so knowledgeable?
Mike Tenay, the professor?
Yeah, Mike Tenay. You like Mike Tenay? Well, according to the research, apparently, guys, back in Mexico, oh man, no, yeah. So Fuego kissed Akamura's wife apparently, and you know that classic spot, and then he ran up like he was gonna
attack Fuego. And he slaps her.
Yeah, she grabbed Fuego to hold him. He was going to attack Fuego. He moved him out of the way and he slapped her. Yo, that was the most heelish move. And there's some really heelish stuff on the show. And that was the most heelish move of the whole night because that Korakuen Hall crowd was like, boo! Like they freaked out, man.
Yeah, dude.
I popped for that for sure.
We'll never see something like that in WWE.
I shouldn't be popping for man on woman violence, like.
But you know, it looked like it was a work slap. I don't think.
No, he hit her hard. Well, I don't know.
I think it was a work slap. I don't think.
I'm really terrible at I don't know. I buy into the gimmick of guys getting hit so much that I never see the thigh slaps or anything. Right. Everyone else seems to see it and I never see it. I'm like, when is it happening?
I don't know. She didn't seem to sell it as if it was a real slap.
I don't know. It looked like he really slapped the crap out of her. She was selling to me. I don't know. Her face looked red, but I don't know. I could just be a mark, you know?
Yeah.
But this was a really, really good solid match. Some of the high spots that they were doing. I mean, all night, obviously everyone was doing crazy high spots, but that was a really good opener. And Akamura beat him with some sort of submission, right?
And no, he did an inverted DDT.
Oh yeah,
he did like a flip thing. Like he looked, he was going for like a scoop slam kind of thing, and turned it into an inverted DDT.
Yeah, the one thing I really appreciate, I don't know if that's his finisher or not, but one thing I appreciate about these matches and something you see a lot in Mexico is they're not always building to a finish, like a finishing move sequence or anything. Sometimes it's just about the guy getting the upper hand and boom, it's over. And it's over just like that. And that's what happened here. Like this match was getting going really good. And then Akamura caught him. Boom. Over. 1, 2, 3.
So yeah, that was a nice little opener. 7-minute match. Then next up on the show, we had the Big Cat Memorial match. And it was Dragon Lee, Kawato, Kojima, and Star Jr. against Bushi, Rush, Takahashi, and Naito.
So who was that Big Cat's family that was in the ring when they first came out?
Yeah, so apparently the woman that was in there, that's Big Cat's wife.
Is it Big Cat or Wild Cat?
Or Black Cat, I'm excuse.
Black Cat.
Yeah.
Oh man, we're live and everything, and you're messing up, man. You're making me look bad.
Hey, like I said, we're new to this Lucha Libre stuff.
Yeah, actually, I didn't know. I've never heard of Black Cat, to be honest with you.
Yeah, neither have I. And we really didn't even know what was happening until we looked at the notes.
I could see that they were holding up a memorial picture and all that. You know what I mean? So I knew that somebody had passed to some degree. It looks like he passed away in 2006, actually. So it's been a while. And okay, so this was like a Hispanic wrestler from Mexico who worked primarily in Japan, apparently.
Okay. And
he died of a heart attack back in 2006. But from what I'm seeing here, this was, it looks like from what I'm reading, he was in UWA and AAA, New Japan, and he even spent time in WCW. Maybe that's why he sounds familiar.
Yeah. And there were some comments from his wife. She said that every year she's surprised that it's gotten another year longer, this Black Cat Memorial match. She thanks everyone for coming and hopes that next year all the Mexican stars will be back again.
Gotcha. So they do this annually then.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's a little feel-good moment there.
Definitely.
And this match was awesome.
Dude, this match was great, hilarious, like...
I said something in the group chat where I said, I think this is the most fun Naito's had all year, and James being a douchebag was like, man, we're 19 days into the year. What are you talking about?
Dude, Naito's out there in a hoodie, an LIJ shirt. Top of the match, he jumps the commentator.
I want to know who that commentator is and why he attacked him so viciously. Like,
yeah.
They beat the crap. I think that's one of the worst like beatings I've ever seen a commentator take, like from wrestlers. Like, it was really bad.
yeah, dude. Naito jumps this man, and then he picks him back up, sits him back in the announce chair.
No. Remember, he took one of the young boys' shirts off, or maybe it was Kawato's shirt, and he started choking the dude, straight Justin Roberts, Daniel Bryan style.
Right.
And then dragged the man, and then, like,
put him back in his chair, put the headset back on, and then jumped him again.
No. Before he jumped him, the dude got pissed.
Oh, yeah.
And, like,
he fired up, yeah.
Yeah, he tried to fire up like he was going to do something, and Jeremy's like, is this guy a wrestler? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, no, but I don't actually know if that's true. Like,
yeah.
Could have been. And then, like, the dude, like, turned around like he was going to go back to his chair, and just Naito jumped.
Yeah, dude.
Jump zone.
Speaking of jump zone, Star Jr. got jump zone majority of this match.
Yo, they killed Star Jr. in this match.
Roosh rips Star Jr.'s mask.
Roosh was out here stunting on these like people. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, he rips the mask, and then LIJ just worked Star Jr. over for the majority of this match.
I mean, they really ripped his mask. Like,
yeah, like tore it off completely. Like, he had to get a new mask.
They had to bring a new mask on and everything. And I don't know why, like, something about a guy getting his mask ripped off is so, like...
That's disrespectful.
Not only that, but, like, they sell it like they just got beaten to death, but all that happened was their mask got ripped off.
Right.
But it seems so devastating. Like,
yeah, I mean, he's trying so hard to cover his face. I mean, dude, your mask is, like, ripped clear off. Like, we're seeing your face. Like,
the one point where he was on the ground and he had no mask on, and all the LIJ members just started stomping him, and then they started miming like they were playing soccer, so they're kicking the ball at each other.
Yeah.
And then they did the goal and they all rushed over. Like, bro, those guys were having like the time of their life. Bro.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, this was of all the multi-man matches, this was probably the best one of the night. Everybody got their stuff in. We saw like really great sequences with Bushi and Star Jr. and Dragon Lee. Oh, man. When the Dragon Lee and Takahashi sequences were going, I was like, oh, man, I want to see these guys fight forever.
And those guys have a storied rivalry from Takahashi's time in CMLL, and then that's rolled over into New Japan with Best of Super Junior
and Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor, yeah. So it's a long rivalry going there. Hopefully, we'll see another one of those matches this year.
If I had my way, every year at Fantasticamania, the main event would be Takahashi and Dragon Lee. Just like run it back every year.
Fight forever.
Let's just do this.
Both these guys.
Oh my god. Yeah. But yeah, some other things like Roosh Kojima were just going at it.
Yeah.
The sequences, what does he call his chop?
I'm not sure what it's called.
The machine gun chop?
That's what I usually refer to as like the machine gun chops.
And it was just awesome. Obviously, those guys have another match coming up later on in the tour, so they're building on that. But that was awesome. And then, yeah, I mean, Naito didn't really work too much in this match, but he's just running around like being a douche heel to people, just doing like the most douche.
I mean, he wore his hoodie for like
the whole match.
Yeah, until like the very end, he took it off and he's kept the shirt on.
The one point where Roosh was getting over on Kojima, and then he did the Tranquilo.
Yeah.
And then Naito's like, "Oh, I gotta get in there," and he did it too.
Yeah.
And then like
double tranquilo.
Yeah. I just sat there watching this match, and I was smiling, like laughing about how fun it was. And I looked over at Jeremy, and I was like, I literally never feel this way watching WWE. Like, never. I was like, I never feel this way. Like, It's crazy, like, how fun and entertaining wrestling can be when it's done right.
Right, yeah.
And so what kind of ended up happening at the end of this match? Like, obviously it was a cluster and everyone was flying around.
Right. You know how Lucha... Well, actually, it's Lucha and New Japan. They're multi-man matches. People just come in and out with no tags.
Yeah.
It's actually a rule in Lucha Libre that you can do that. In New Japan, I don't know what the rule is. People just do whatever they want.
Well, the Lucha style rule in Mexico is that if the legal man leaves the ring, then anyone else from the team can come in, and they'll be the first guy comes in will be deemed the legal guy. So they weren't really following that rule necessarily. They were still following tags. That was a little different. Yeah. There's no 2 out of 3 falls matches here, whereas if you watch Arena Mexico or you watch CMLL or AAA, almost all their matches exclusively are 2 out of 3 falls matches, where these were all 1 falls. So that was very interesting, especially since we had some title matches.
So coming to the end of this match, LIJ isolated the baby faces, and Bushi ended up in the ring with Kawato, and Bushi locked in the deadly Boston Crab and turned it into a single leg crab.
That young boy finish.
And Kawato tried his best, but he had a tap.
We sat there watching it too, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be it." And Jeremy's like, "No, he's not gonna tap." He's like, "He's got fighting spirit."
Which he fired up for a little bit and was fighting towards the rope, but then Bushi transitioned to a single leg crab.
And then I was like, "I told you, it feels good to be right all the time."
You were on the SMC Wrestling podcast a couple weeks ago for their Wrestle Kingdom review, and I know Caleb keeps trying to rebrand you as a vigilante and give you a gimmick. But if you ever do get a new gimmick besides a young boy, I think it should be like Dr. Puro or something like that, because you get all these predictions, you have the vision.
It's my third eye. Oh my god.
So Kawato taps out. Kawato, was this his last show?
No. He's going to be on all the shows.
Okay.
But obviously we've talked about before, he's going to CMLL to do his excursion after this, so that's really exciting.
Yeah.
And then after the match, because there's this ongoing mini feud during this tour, Roosh attacked Kojima.
Yeah, he hit Kojima's knee with a chair.
Yeah.
They're going to face each other on Monday's show.
Now, if you watched last year, they did a very similar setup for the match with him and Mystico, and he beat Atlantis. And he beat the mess out of Atlantis with a chair. So this was almost playing into what they did last year. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if maybe it's obviously it's LIJ and it's Roosh, but Kojima's kind of filling in that old guard role that Atlantis had last year.
Right.
And
then also Naito attacked the announcer again after the match.
Yo, they put the boots to that dude.
Yeah, Naito and Roosh.
And then Roosh did it, and then they kept doing the thing where they'd pull the guy off and be like, calm down, and then turn around and do it some more. And then they both did it, and then they both turn around, and I was like, yo, this guy's dying right now. Yeah, and then they were choking him with the freaking chair. That guy just got murdered. It was just
so great.
I was dying. I was dying.
Yeah, we were both
popping so hard, marking out.
Yeah, we were just both marking out here in Strong Style Dojo.
I thought that was up to that point. I was like, man, this is later in the night. I asked Jeremy, I was like, what do you think the best match of the night has been? And he was like, I think the LIJ multi-man match. And I was like, was it a good match, or was it just the match we enjoyed the most because these guys were being such douche heels and just
having so much fun. You could tell Naito was having a blast.
All of them. Takahashi, Bushi,
yeah, it was great.
And it's always good to see Roosh with these guys. I do want to say right now, I really, really hope Roosh comes back to New Japan for the G1. I feel like maybe this year he will. I just have this strange feeling. Talking about catching the vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have this prediction based off what we're seeing here, especially with his interactions with Kojima, because Kojima is going to be in the G1 this year again.
Yeah.
He's the only New Japan dad that's still allowed to be in it. Which I don't know why, because I'd rather see Nagata, but whatever.
I don't know. I'm more of a Kojima mark than I am for Nagata.
You like Kojima better than Nagata?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's the chops, man.
You all Japan mark. But yeah, I really, Roosh is excellent. And I don't know, I kind of want to see him and Naito go at it.
Oh, that would be interesting if they end up in the same block.
Yeah. We'll talk about that more down the road. But mark this day, January 19th, 2018. Roosh is going to be in the G1 this year. I can almost guarantee it.
All right, next up, we had the team of Atlantis, Drone, Mystico 2, and Volador Jr. taking on Barbario Cavanario, Puma, Disturbio, and Ultimo Guerrero.
So we got the obligatory Ultimo Guerrero comes in with his mask on and pulls it off because he doesn't wrestle with the mask. And, the Japanese crowd goes, ooh.
Yeah.
And then Volador comes in and he doesn't wear a mask either. And he does the same thing as, except they've been doing it every year for since 2013.
Yeah.
But, so we got that spot, which is kind of like becoming a tradition on these Fantasticamania shows. This match was also very good. I didn't quite enjoy it as the match before, but I mean that's just because LIJ's antics are awesome. But for the in-ring action, I mean these guys like Volador and Drone, those are those dudes, bro. And Mystico, oh my God.
Dude, there was a lot of great offense in this match. Josh, you have been hyping up Barbario Cavanario to me, and he did some awesome spots in this match.
Yeah, he did that that almost like, I don't know what you want to call it, like arm wrench, like suplex.
Yeah.
Like capture, like fisherman suplex. It was sick, whatever it was. We didn't really get to see him work in this match.
It was very little. He pulled a Sky to Hottie and did a worm at one point in the match. He's going to be facing off against Volador Jr. on Sunday's show.
Yeah. That's going to be for the NWA welterweight. No, the NWA historic welterweight champion. Whatever they call it. The World Historic NWA Championship. I don't know, man.
And something else that was...
titles are crazy.
Yeah. Something else very hilarious to me in this match was Atlantis. Like, pretty much any time the babyfaces went for a dive, Atlantis was kind of like, nah, bro.
Yeah, Atlantis is at this point... I mean, he's been at this point for quite a while now, but, he can work if he wants to, but, he can't do it every night. So, in these multi-man matches, you get very little from him, and, I mean, he looks rough. It's no joke, but... On the big show, when it's time to go, he still can until I'm feeling like, who knows, we might see him pull an Undertaker here in the next anniversary show or so, if that happens again. But I mean, bro, Mystico and Volador Jr. were doing amazing stuff in this match.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to call. I mean, it's just a bunch of flippy crap.
Dude, lots of Ranas. There were slingshot Ranas, super Ranas off the top.
Drama was really impressive too. I know he's a lower mid-card guy apparently from some of the research I've been trying to do, just so that we could be somewhat knowledgeable.
Sounds like to know what we're talking about on here.
Yeah, so we can be the Jim Ross equivalent of talking about stand. But I mean, Ultimo Guerrero and Puma, all these heels, they played their part really well. I mean, this match was kind of hectic. I did feel like it was a little clunky in different parts, but overall, I mean, especially Volador, man. Volador's awesome.
Yeah, Volador Jr. is a man. I hope that he's in Best of the Super Juniors this year.
Yeah, for some reason I thought Teton was going to be on this card, and when I realized tonight that he wasn't, I was really disappointed. I was like, man.
Yeah, I love Teton.
We got Volador, we got Dragon Lee, and Mystico, we're not getting Teton. It kind of sucks.
Yeah, I wonder what the deal was there.
Who won this match? Oh, yeah.
So the baby faces won.
Atlantis,
Yeah, so at one point, majority of the heels were on the outside. Volador, Mystico, and Drone, they all do simultaneous dives, while Atlantis...
planchas.
Yeah, and then Atlantis, he got Puma in a submission.
Yeah, I don't know what he calls it, but I've seen him use it. It's it's like the Argentine backbreaker, sorta.
Right.
But it's his finisher, and I mean, usually in Mexico, when he gets guys in it, they sell it like it's death, and they tap almost immediately.
I mean, yeah, the tap was very immediate.
Yeah.
He was up in the hole for not very long, a few seconds, and they called it.
It might be also a situation where maybe he can't keep guys in it for too long anyway.
Yeah.
So they might have to tap that fast, just out of necessity at this point. I don't know. But I mean, that's usually in Mexico, if Atlantis gets you in that hold, you're done basically. His finishing move is called the Atlantida. It's the spinning backbreaker rack. So that's his finisher. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that was good.
Yeah. And then up next, we had the CMLL middleweight title match. The champion Angel de Oro against Cuatero. This was another very good match.
It was good.
Good.
It wasn't like even up. I didn't think it was quite up to the same level.
Actually, yeah, it was.
Other stuff.
Well, this match, it was kind of slow in the beginning, to be honest, and they were working over. I think Cuatero was working over Angel de Oro's knee, and then at one point in the match, he just totally forgot that his knee was hurt and started flipping and flopping all over the place. And then towards the end of the match, he started selling the knee again.
Yeah, so yeah, you're exactly right. It was funny how like he didn't sell the knee. Like at first, it was like he got killed on the knee, and then he didn't sell the knee at all. And then just at the very, very end of the match, all of a sudden he started selling the knee again. Like, and I was like, what? Where'd that come from?
Right.
But the crazy thing here was Angel de Oro came in as the world champion, and he lost the title to Cuatero. Which most people didn't expect. Like, a lot of titles don't change on these Fantasticamania shows, and quite frankly, these titles don't get defended that often, so you don't see a lot of title changes when it comes to, especially when they're abroad. So it was quite, like, it was, from what I understand, an upset, and it was kind of surprising to see Cuatero go over.
Right. And the title change here also helped add some drama to the last two matches, which were also title matches. So the crowd was like, oh, we saw a title change. Maybe we'll see two more title changes hands.
Yeah, I mean, this was something else that I thought was interesting is if you've ever watched these Fantasticamania shows, you're probably used to the first two nights being a lot of multi-man matches, and then the final night being the main, and usually there's like one singles main event each night. But on the final night, you usually get like 3 title matches or 3 big matches that are all singles that they've kind of built to over the course of the tour. Whereas on this night, this was the first of 3 title matches that we got, which is very, very different from the way they generally do things. So that's been, I think, and you pointed out when we were talking about it, Jeremy, you were talking about the tag tournament.
That's right. They're doing the Brothers Tag Tournament on the last 2 nights of this tour. Mm-hmm. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll be covering that in next week's episode.
And on a side note, it's very interesting that the middleweight title changed hands on a single fall match, because in Mexico, they generally almost always do 2 out of 3 falls matches. So, I mean, especially for a title match.
Well, I wonder if this could be used to set up the rematch where Angel de Oro can be like, hey, man, you didn't beat me the traditional way. I want my rematch.
Yeah. I was telling Jeremy, like, in Mexico, if they have a singles match, they call it, like, a dash match. And to them, like, that's a gimmick.
Right. That's crazy to think. Like, over here in the States, 2 out of 3 is a gimmick for us.
Yeah. So, like, over there, they're like, oh, we're getting a singles match? 1 fall! Like, they love it.
Yeah, they have a reason to chant 1 fall over there.
Yeah. Uno.
So, yeah, this match ended up, Cuatero, he ended up hitting his finish. It was a spinning, like, crucifix powerbomb thing.
I think the first time, I don't think he spun the first time, but it was like the, what did Conan used to call it when he did that in back in the day? The mountain plunge or something like that.
The Splash Mountain.
Splash Mountain, that's what it was. It was basically the Splash Mountain. It was awesome, but the way he did it was like devastating looking.
Yeah.
Kind of remind me of like the way Fale throws dudes like they're dead.
For the bad luck fall.
Yeah, man. But yeah, that match was the tail end of it was very, very good.
Yeah, it picked up towards the end.
And then the surprise, like, victory. The other funny thing, too, is we were like, Cuatero, what does that mean? Like, 4? Like, I looked it up, and we noticed he had horseshoes on his gear. And then you look it up, and it's like a horse thief or like a horse wrangler. But, like, the colloquial term is someone who's not to be trusted. I was like, oh, so his name means heel. So we got heel, and then the other guy's name is Angel, and he's wearing gold. So it's like, okay, we got heel versus face.
Right. Very, very basic old school wrestling. The heel wears black. The babyface wears bright colors.
Yeah, so that was a good match, though. And, I mean, that was a very, very surprising. Then after the match, you could be right. They could be leading to a rematch down the road because Angel de Oro grabbed the belt from him and he handed it to him. So there's like almost like a mutual respect. And he looked at the belt like longingly and kissed it real quick and then handed it back and got out of there. So hats off to those guys, and that was pretty cool. So we got a title change on this first night, and then we go to the semi-main event and the main event, which were freaking awesome.
Yeah, so we have the Mexican welterweight title match. The champion, Sobrano Jr., went against the challenger, Sanson.
Yeah, apparently this was like the CMLL feud of 2017. Apparently, both of these guys were breakout stars essentially this past year, from what I understand. And they do a lot of tournaments in Mexico, especially this year. They did more than they generally do, and there were several times throughout the year where these two guys met in the finals of various tournaments throughout the year. So they both have picked up titles. And this was kind of somewhat of a blow off, or maybe it's a continuation. I don't really know.
But yeah, it was a very good match. I mean, this was a lot. There was a lot of innovative spots in this match. A lot of high flying.
This match was insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really insane. The different dives and to the outside. This was the first time when we were watching a match where I was like, okay, business is really picking up right here.
Yeah, there was a great spot where Sobernero, he super kicked Sanson to the floor and he hit a corkscrew tope. That was awesome.
Though he hit the corkscrew tope 3 or 4 times in the match.
Yeah.
And every time he did it, I was just blown away every single time. I don't know why. I was it's like poetry in motion. It's amazing. How many revolutions that guy gets and how much air he gets. This was a match that was just big move after big move after big move, and they just kept going for pinfall after pinfall. So they're really selling the desperation.
Yeah, Sobernero did a lot of dives in this match. Yeah, earlier in the match he did a Fosbury flop at one point.
What's a Fosbury flop?
It's the move where they jump over the rope and do a twisting dive. It's what Neville what Neville does all the time.
Oh, that is who does it all the time. We were wondering earlier who does that we see it. It's Neville. Neville does it. Yeah, that move is awesome. There's quite a few. What's funny is there's quite a few guys who actually did that on this card, and it's something in America or in Japan. If you have a signature spot, no one else really is allowed to do it. But in CMLL, all these guys they're doing it all. It's crazy.
Yeah, Sanson, he caught Sobernero with a super powerbomb off of the ropes for a near fall.
Was this the match where you made the WWE comment, or was it the main event?
I can't remember, but we can talk about it now. It might have been this match, but after all these high spots, I was like, man, this is what 205 Live should be like. WWE did a great job hiring some of the best high flyers in the world, but we get no high fly.
I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing at how ridiculous that statement is, because it's so true, but never gonna happen, that it's almost ridiculous to be this is what 205 Live should be like.
Right. I mean, you have a guy like Grand Metalik who's calls himself the king of the ropes, but he has to spend the majority of his matches selling his knee and not flying.
Oh my God.
All right, but yeah.
No. You're absolutely right. It was something funny you said. You're so we got to see TJP and freaking Grand Metalik work body part matches every week.
Right. Meanwhile, here on Fantasticamania, we're seeing how a high-flying show should be done.
Dude, these guys, I remember growing up, bro, my idea of the best high-flying match I ever seen was Pillman versus Liger.
Yeah.
Which is that match is still incredible, so I'm not knocking it whatsoever, but seeing what those guys were doing in 92 compared to what these guys are doing right now, it's a whole different level of high-flying. My God, I was dude, how do these freaking Lucha Libre guys work like this? I mean, so many dives to the outside and so many big spots. It's crazy.
Yeah. So for the finish of the match, Sobernero caught Sanson with a sit-out pile driver that looked pretty nasty.
Oh yeah. It was like a spinning. He caught him in midair while they're spinning.
Right.
and then just dropped him. I mean, people should stop doing that spot, by the way. That's a dangerous move.
Yeah, but Sabanero Jr. retains the title.
Soberano.
Yes. Sorry, my Spanish is not all that great.
Mine's not either, but I can walk into like any like little bodega and like order food at least. I know what the food is.
You got the blood though. You got the Spanish blood in you. But yeah.
Yeah, but fun fact, I failed Spanish 2 twice in high school, back to back. Like, I suck at foreign languages.
Yeah, man. But hopefully both these guys are back for Best of the Super Juniors also.
You know, fun fact, while we were doing research, and actually I knew this from a while back, but I forgot about it. I've had this obsession with trying to just figure out what's the world title in CMLL.
Well, and here's the thing. For me, like, I had no idea like what the title scene looked like in CMLL.
You didn't know they had this many belts, did you?
No. Then we started doing research before we watched this, and you were telling me about all these historic and NWA and middleweight, welterweight, light heavyweight, world champion. I'm like,
yeah. So let's just like take.
I thought WWE had too many belts. Like,
yeah, no, it's crazy. So then, like, originally CMLL was like the designated. I mean, they're the oldest promotion in Mexico, and so at one point they were the NWA's designated like. They remember the NWA, and the NWA World Champion would actually go there, just like he would go to All Japan and Puerto Rico and all that, but. As part of the partnership, they were granted NWA titles because they were one of the only NWA members that actually had weight classes. So they had the NWA light heavyweight title, the NWA middleweight title, the NWA welterweight, the NWA lightweight, all that. So the NWA titles were their belts for a long time, and then eventually they broke off from the NWA. And actually, the company was at EMLL originally, and then their governing body is CMLL. Technically, they are EMLL, just like New Japan is New Japan, and CMLL is like
the IWGP.
Yeah, it's the governing body. But over time, it kind of everyone just started calling it CMLL because I don't know. It was too similar and too close, and it was easier. And they kind of go back and forth about which one they are. Sometimes they reference themselves as EMLL, and sometimes CMLL. Anyways, in the 90s, they broke off. I believe it was the 90s. I could be wrong, but they broke off and formed their own world titles. But then they kept the NWA belts, but the NWA stopped recognizing those belts. So for years, they had the NWA belts for these different weight classes, and then their own world titles. But going even further back, they had Mexican national champions who these were belts that were like recognized historically all throughout Mexico when Lucha Libre was more like regional and there was other promotions and stuff, and they were defended everywhere. But over time, those Mexican national titles, at one point they were exclusive to AAA, but then and actually I think one of them still are, but the majority of them are now in CMLL and they're just defended there. So you've got you had the NWA titles, and then the world titles, and then the Mexican national titles. But then back in 2006, Blue Demon Jr. started NWA Lucha Libre and forced them to give all the NWA belts back. So then they're like, all right, well, we're just going to replace them with these new belts called the NWA World Historic titles. And so they're like supposed to be the same lineage, but they're really not. And they don't look like so it's really confusing because they got like 3 or 4, and then they've had other secondary titles, and then they got trios and tag titles, and they got like 6 weight classes.
Yeah, so it's just completely...
It's like boxing.
Yeah, it's completely overwhelming to try and keep up with all the titles and champions.
And then none of them are actually important, like literally. For instance, like this belt, the one that Soberano holds, the Mexican Welterweight Championship, in theory, it is one of the most... It's, first off, most people don't realize, it's the oldest active world title still around today. It's from like the 30s, basically. And it's still going, and it is like extremely important. Like almost every major star in Lucha Libre has held it, like going back to Gory Guerrero and El Santo, and then like Rey Mysterio and Conan and like all Paraguayo and all these different guys, El Dandy, like they all held it. And then but now like, and it still is important, but like I don't know. The titles don't mean as much because in Mexico it's all about when a blood feud is really boiling, and what draws people and what people turn out to see is hair versus hair, mask versus mask, or mask versus hair, like a bet match, lucha de espuertas. That's what it's all about. And it's kind of weird to me because I'm all about world titles, you know.
We're all about
I'm about the lineage.
You want to get the belt and beat everybody.
Yeah. and like AAA used to kind of be like this, but they just were like, you know what? Screw this. We're going to unify some of these belts and have a mega championship. And they've had that for a while, and it works out for them.
Yeah.
And like in CMLL, if you're the world champion, you're like a geek.
It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, so that was pretty interesting. So then we continue on to our main event.
Yes, the CMLL light heavyweight title match. The defending champion Niebla Roja against Gran Guerrero.
Nice, man. You said that really well.
Thank you. I need to redeem myself.
So these two guys have also feuded in the past year, and like you said on the previous show, they headlined the anniversary show, which at the time they were both seen as like mid-card guys. And so people found it as to be like an underwhelming main event, but it actually ended up being a fantastic match and elevated both guys. And this is the first time I believe that they've actually like fought over a title. So, Niebla Roja lost his mask, I think this past September, to Gran Guerrero. So this is kind of a chance for him is he going to in defending his belt, is he going to lose something again to the same guy who already took his mask and identity? Or is he gonna, defend his honor and his pride here in Japan? So this match started a little slow, but
it kind of wasn't completely slow.
It wasn't slow.
Roja.
It wasn't like Angel de Oro versus Cuatrero.
Yeah. Roja, he goes for a flip dive, and Guerrero catches him and power bombs him on the floor. That was
crazy. When he caught him, that's when I was like, oh, that was, like, first off, really dangerous, and second off, like, awesome.
And then we forgot to mention Ultimo Guerrero and Gran Guerrero are out here like Harlem Heat, raising the roof, getting the whole Corrigan Hall fans to raise the roof.
Yo, that dance, I don't know. He's gotten that over in you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like Public Enemy back in like ECW.
Yeah.
Like everyone.
Guerrero was out here getting everybody raising the roof.
These were like spot fests, I guess, essentially, like these top two matches.
Yeah.
But really good ones.
And something I loved about this match, they hit big moves and they would go for covers immediately. So you had big move cover, big move cover, big move cover. It gave it a fight feeling. These guys were really trying to win.
I like that sometimes better than the big move in WWE or, in a lot of North American promotions, and then the long sell, and then the cover, the like crawl over to cover,
right,
and then the kick out. I'm like, well, instead, they're just going for the cover, and then they have to sell the fact that, like, God, it didn't work. And I mean, yeah, I'm not saying we don't get that in America, but, like, this was hectic. It was like
it was like fast paced, like, bam, big move, go for the cover. All right, kicked out. Let me try something else. Oh, he reversed it. I got hit with a big move. Oh, I got to kick out.
Yeah, and they were just going back and forth. Like, this was a very fast-paced match. It was very similar. Like, when we got done watching, I was like, what was better, the Soberano and Sanson match or the Roja Guerrero match? And Jerry's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they were both very good matches.
Essentially, like, another thing here too is this was another world title match because it's for the CMLL light heavyweight championship. And now, one thing to keep in mind from the way it's been explained to me is that the most important title is whoever the biggest star is and which one he's holding at that time. So it is kind of a situation where, the title doesn't make guys in Mexico. The guy makes the belt. But that being said, most people recognize this as being like the premier belt in CMLL. So that it's kind of interesting that they're headlining the first night with this. And these guys were just really treating it like it was this major prize, the way that they were trying to put each other away.
They were risking it all in this match.
Well, you know what? Guerrero didn't take his shirt off. I feel like that might have been his undoing.
He didn't take it as seriously.
I don't know. He didn't take it seriously. Like, he didn't take his shirt off.
Yeah, he was pulling Naito.
Jeremy thought he was trying to get his merch over.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you wear your shirt in the match. Get the merch over, brother. Let them know what they can buy and where to buy it.
Oh my god. This match was really, really good. Now that I've seen it, I'm like, I've got to see the anniversary show match because I heard it was very, very good, and this match was really awesome. And I mean, the crazy thing that kept happening that was different about this match than any other match was how many times they went to the top turnbuckle and did stuff that I've never actually seen guys do.
Right, yeah. So towards the end of the match, Guerrero got Roja gets up with Guerrero and hits like a Michinoku driver kind of thing off the ropes for a near fall. Assuming that was Guerrero that did that.
Yeah.
Guerrero hit Roja with that. I guess they call it the Grand Guerrero Special. He did it off the top rope for a near fall. Then Guerrero went back up top, but then Roja reversed and did a double chicken wing slam off the ropes.
I liked the part where Roja like jumped up on the ropes like he was going to do a Frankensteiner, and Guerrero caught him and stalled and lifted him up like he's gonna powerbomb him, and then still got Hurricane Rana anyways.
Right.
That was really cool. What was the thing that he did where it looked like he was gonna pile or it looked like he was gonna tombstone him?
Yeah, Roja, he set Guerrero up on the top, and he was going to.
Bro, it was scary.
I don't know what Roja was going for, but it ended up where Guerrero lawn darted Roja off the top, like a jumping lawn dart.
I don't even know if I'd call... Yeah, I guess it is a lawn dart, like just into the middle of the ring, but he had him in the tombstone position from the top rope. And I was like, oh my god. Like,
yeah, we thought he was going to do a tombstone from the top.
I mean, deep down in my heart, I probably should have known he wasn't, but at the same time, the way it looked, it was like, God, he's about to do it.
You never know.
And then he lifted him up, and it was like, what is he doing? And then he just threw
lawn darted him.
It was really cool. But yeah, this match was... How did this match end?
So the finish was the double chicken wing slam off the top.
Oh yeah, so you were mentioning that Michinoku driver. That Michinoku driver, the super Michinoku driver off the top should have been that finish.
Yeah.
That should have been the end. Like,
yeah.
The fact that Roja kicked out of it, like, I'm buying into the kayfabe of it. Like, this guy's superhuman, bro. Like, I don't know how he survived that. Like, he's amazing.
He was. And then he followed up, hit that double chicken wing slam, and got the pinfall over Gran Guerrero.
The only criticism I have about this match was when Soberano and Sanson finished, like, ended, it felt very satisfying. Like, that made sense. This is the end. This one was still very good, but I was like, when it was finishing, I was like, oh, they should keep going. Like, they're on track to have like a historic match here. And then it just ended, and it was like 16 minutes. I'm like, dude, they could have gone another 4, 5, 6 minutes, and I would have loved it.
Yeah.
That's my only complaint, is this should have gone a little bit longer, because it was very good. And I'm really torn on it, but I think I prefer... I don't even want to say prefer, but like, for me, the match of the night's probably the main event, just because the main event style, and they were doing some really crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. What would you say?
Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards the main event, but I mean, both of those title matches are
they're about equal.
Very good. Yeah, they're about equal.
This is one of the best, like, top 2 matches. I mean, Kamitachi versus Dragon Lee, 2 years ago was a near match of the year contender, and like it got 4 3/4. So it's not like these are the best matches I've ever seen at Fantasticamania, but this might be one of the strongest top halves of a Fantasticamania card I've ever seen put together. And it's kind of interesting because there was almost no New Japan guys tonight.
Yeah. Who was there?
Kojima?
The LIJ guys.
Kojima and LIJ.
And Kawato.
And that was it. And they were all in the same match.
Yeah.
All the other matches were
straight
CMLL guys. They're letting these dudes rest up for a New Beginning, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, because they have 2 New Beginning shows this month. Then there's the Road to New Beginnings in February and New Beginning in Osaka.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. What was your thoughts overall just on the card?
Overall, I thought it was a solid card from top to bottom. A lot of great action. I was very satisfied with the end of the show.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say like you're a lucha or a lucha novice or anything. Obviously, we both have seen Lucha Libre a lot, but I mean, this was probably like one of the first like full lucha like shows that you've sat through. Like, what were your impressions?
I mean, like our brother Rich, I can be a mark for flips and dives. And so I definitely enjoyed seeing all the innovative offense, and all the dives and flips were very cool. And it makes me more curious to find out more about a lot of these guys. And maybe, who knows, maybe I'll start watching some Arena Mexico.
Oh my God. Hey, listen. This was great, but wait till you watch an Arena Mexico show. There's some weird crap that no one can explain, that when you're watching it, you're like, why are they doing this?
Yeah,
like,
I might pull a Meltzer and just watch Arena Mexico every Friday night.
Yeah, this is one of the best Fantasticamania cards I've seen, like, for a single night. I am bummed out that we're not getting to see the Tanahashi and Okada interactions in that 6-man they had earlier on the tour, because Rich freaking made me think that that was on one of these live cards. So I was all stoked about it, and then when I realized it's not getting aired, I'm like, God, like, I want to see the Ace and the Ace go at it again.
Yeah, you think they would have had Okada and Tanahashi on one of these 3 shows that are going to be aired.
Yeah. So, I mean, we already did, like, we ran down the cards, you know, for these next 2 nights, and we're going to do some more coverage on them, but a couple things just taking a look forward after the first night. Let's see here. So obviously we have the tag tournament that we talked about that's coming up. The main event, though, for Sunday night is going to be Volador Jr. versus Barbaro Cavernario. And after the multi-man match, Barbaro Cavernario came out and cut a promo on Volador Jr. and said he's going to be the new NWA World Historic Champion. From what I wasn't aware of this, but after doing like research, apparently like 2 of the best matches of the entire year in Mexico and in Lucha occurred between these guys last year. Specifically, I heard the match in June was supposed to be amazing. So that makes, like, those are 2 guys that I love. And I said before this whole, when we reviewed it the first time, that this is the match I was most looking forward to. But now, like, my anticipation for it has gone from like here to like here.
Same here. I'm very excited for that match.
Also, Dragon Lee Mystico versus Quattrero and Sanson is gonna be really good. Like, after seeing like all the crap that those dudes did tonight, like, I mean, dude, Quattrero and Sanson, that's an awesome team.
Yeah. Dude.
I didn't really realize that they were brothers, but now I'm like, oh man, that's gonna be a freaking flippy fest right there.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, we've got the other stuff. I mean, they're still building up the LIJ versus Kojima and Atlantis and Kawato. We're gonna get Kushida Sunday night. Taguchi's gonna be in action. Show and Yo. So, I mean, we're getting
some more New Japan guys.
Exactly. But I think, you know, that Volador Jr. and Barbaro Cavernario match is going to probably be like,
the match of the night.
It might be match of the entire tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully. I mean, I don't know. Dragon Lee and Barbaro Cavernario let me down a little bit last year. They had a perfectly fine match, but it wasn't blowaway. But I'm hoping, because I like Volador Jr. a lot, that one's really, really good. And then even Angel De Oro and Niebla Roja against the Guerreros should also be very good.
Yeah.
So now that we've seen these guys in action, you've seen De Oro and Roja and the Guerreros, and then Dragon Lee Mystico, Quattrero and Sanson. What are you seeing, like, projecting how that tournament's going to go? What are you excited about, you know, between those 2 matches?
I'm definitely excited about the Volador Jr. title match on Sunday with Barbario. Barbaro. Excuse me. Work on my Spanish, guys. I think the Guerrero brothers, I can see them being in the finals of this tournament. And I think...
that probably makes the most sense.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to seeing what all these guys are doing. I mean, we saw Drone and Star Jr. in that 8-man, and I think them against Disturbio and Puma should be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, those are all guys lower down on the cards from what I understand. So them getting to work a bigger show like this and being in the opening match, I assume they're going to work probably really, really hard to stand out on this, show.
Yeah.
And then, we're going to get Akamura and Sho and Yo against Fuego and Saburano. That's probably going to be awesome, too.
Yeah. And then Dragon Lee and Mystico, I think, they'll end up facing the Guerreros. Look, you mentioned that prediction also.
Yeah, I mean, that was my prediction, but it's not anything, like, crazy. I mean, out of the two face teams, like Niebla Roja and Angel de Oro, I don't see them headlining the final night over Dragon Lee and Mystico. I mean, it's Dragon Lee and Mystico. Those are two big names. Well, I mean, it's not the original Mystico, but, I mean, everybody knows the gimmick of Mystico. Dragon Lee's very well established in New Japan, and then everyone in Japan knows the Guerreros. I mean, that final makes more sense to me. And then I could see, because they're going to have the losers bracket, go against each other.
Yeah.
Angel de Oro and Niebla Roja against Cuartero and Sanson is probably...
Makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense, yeah. And I think Dragon Lee, Mystico, and the Guerreros probably tear it up. That match is going to be awesome.
Yeah, it'll be great.
And then, is there anything on the last night that, I think Kojima and Rush, the fact that that's a singles match is very, very interesting. And I don't know, Rush is awesome, man. I think he's going to beat the crap out of Kojima.
It's going to lay the New Japan dad to rest.
Oh, we get Liger that night. And Tiger Mask. Oh, and obviously it's Kawato's final match in New Japan before he leaves.
That's right. He goes on excursion to CMLL.
Him and Atlantis, I'm kind of like, that's... him Atlantis against Gato and Barbaro Cavernario. Sure, that will probably be like a special moment, but I don't know how good of a match that's going to be.
That's in the middle of the card too. So that's, you're kind of like your break match right there.
Yo, look at this. Bushi, Takahashi, and Naito against Drone, Saburano, and Volador.
Oh my gosh. Dude, that match is going to be insane.
So, yeah, and then, we haven't seen Taguchi yet, but Taguchi usually does this, like, Egyptian god pyramid. He calls himself Pyramid Taguchi, and he wears a mask like he's a luchador, but he only covers his eyes. And then, like, when people try to pull his mask, he does the gimmick like he's getting his mask ripped, but...
Here's my thing. Are we going to see that, or are we going to see Masked Horse?
We're not seeing Masked Horse ever again. Horse, was it Horse Mask?
No, it was Masked. Well, the English trans, it was a Masked Horse.
Oh, I don't know. But yeah, so we're looking forward to this. This first night was really good, and hopefully the next two nights are just as good. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Really, really good card.
Yeah, same here. And we'd like to hear what you guys thought about the show.
If you watched it, because we don't think many of you will.
Well, if you didn't watch it, I highly recommend you do go watch it and then tweet us at KI Strong Style and let us know what you thought about this show. And now we're going to jump into the news section of our show. First thing we want to talk about is the sellout of the New Beginning in Osaka. On that card, you have Okada defending the title against Sonata, Goto defending the Never title against Evil, and Will Ospreay defending the Junior title against Takahashi. That sold out the Eden Arena 4 weeks in advance. That's probably about 5,200 tickets sold. And so they have been selling out the Eden Arena regularly, with Okada defending. This was considered pretty much a lock. And they sold out the prior 4 shows in that arena.
Yeah.
But 4 weeks in advance would be a record for the modern era.
Yeah, they said it's like the fastest that they've sold it out. I mean, it top to bottom, we've talked about it before, but it's an incredible looking card, especially on one of these smaller type, New Japan shows. It's not like Dominion or something like that, So Okada against Sonata, I mean, that match is going to be awesome. And then you're getting Evil and Goto, and then you're getting Hiromu and Ospreay. I mean, those are the 3 main top matches. Plus, I think we're getting the tag match between Shonyo and the Bucks on that same card, right?
No, I believe that's on New Beginning in Sapporo. Night 2.
Gotcha. Oh, but we are getting Yoshihashi against Naito that same night.
Right.
And yeah, you're right. But still, I mean, those top 4 matches, I mean, that's the most star-studded, card of the entire tour. Plus, we're going to get to see Yuji Nagata break Kitamura's arm.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, yeah, I'm not surprised that it sold out, but it is like a kind of a big deal that it sold out so soon. So, I mean, that's very newsworthy, and it just shows you how, like, coming out of was Wrestle Kingdom and the incredible 2017 that New Japan had, how they're just riding this wave of momentum right now, essentially,
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's awesome.
And then, Bill Goldberg, he's going to be going into the WWE Hall of Fame. But the real big news about Goldberg is that he was in talks with New Japan for a short-term deal. And this was, picked up in The Observer and Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, so I woke up, when did this break? Was it yesterday? I think it wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, so I mean, I wake up early in the morning. I've told you guys before that.
Might have been Wednesday, actually.
Could have been. Yeah, you know what? You're probably right. But I wake up early in the morning trying to like scour the internet for like, the new like New Japan related like news for you guys. And then I saw this like little snippet in Sport. I didn't even see it on Observer. I saw it in Sports Illustrated, and they were like, Bill Goldberg was in talks with New Japan before he signed with WWE to do the Hall of Fame. And I was like, what?
Dude, yeah. When I read that, my mind was blown.
I was just like, what would he do there? So, I mean, I don't know. Since we're on the subject, like, what do you think this entailed? What do you think was talked about? I mean, obviously we're speculating here, but this is kind of like some fun, like, fantasy, like...
Right. Well, obviously he saw the success that Jericho had, and he probably heard about how much money Jericho made, and so he wanted to come in and do the big shows.
Apparently that's what it was going to be for. It's just like big show. I don't know if it's to wrestle or big show appearances, but the big shows.
I mean, as far as match wise, I mean, personally, I would like him to go against somebody like Ishii and have like a 5-minute strong style match.
And get murdered by Ishii?
Yeah.
My God, like this guy's a father, bro. He has a family.
Well, they used to say, WCW's where the big boy play. Nah, New Japan's where the big boys play.
Nah, they're not playing, bro. Especially Ishii. That dude's not playing. If you want to book Bill Goldberg in a match, put him in with Toriano. That's what you do there. Like, protect this man. Make him look good.
Yoshihashi.
No, my God. What's crazy is like, I've never watched any of these matches, but Bill Goldberg had 5 matches in Japan over the years, with Japanese promotions, not like, touring with WWF or something like that. But in 2002 and in 2003, he did tours with All Japan. The only match that lasted longer than 6 minutes was in 2003, him and Keiji Muto. They teamed against Chronic, Bryan Adams and Brian Clark. I'm sure that was like a 5-star classic. They went 18 minutes. Can you imagine that?
Oh my gosh.
In 2003, can you imagine that match?
No, I can't.
Bro, remember when those guys came to WWF and had that match with Undertaker and like Kane?
Yes.
Oh my, and it was like voted like it was one of the worst matches in history.
Yeah.
So I'm sure this was just gold. He also wrestled.
I'm sure Goldberg carried the load in that match, right?
Goldberg squashed Kojima in 4 minutes, bro.
Dude.
In 2002.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and this was all in All Japan, and then he also beat Taiyo Kei in 3 minutes 56 seconds, and then he also wrestled Rick Steiner. And then a lot of people don't know this, but during his WWE run in 2004, he actually went to Japan and wrestled at the Saitama Super Center or Super Arena for Hustle 1, which was Hustle was like a Japanese WWE centric type of wrestling.
Gotcha.
It was
so more entertainment.
It was sports entertainment based, and it had wacky storylines, but it was like Japan, so it was weird stuff. But yeah, he went over there and wrestled for them, and he wrestled Noya Ogawa, who I think is a former like gold medalist, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I'd have to look more into that. I think Ogawa's like a former like judoka. But anyways, yeah, they wrestled in Wrestle 1. I also heard a rumor he was supposed to go over there. I don't know if he was supposed to wrestle McFoley. I think he was supposed to wrestle McFoley in Hustle. Or maybe it was that he backed out and then McFoley replaced him. But McFoley definitely had a match in like 2004 that a lot of people know about in Hustle against Kawada from All Japan.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and Kawada like kicks the This is like right around the time after like he wrestled Orton.
Yeah.
Like around that same time, but he didn't put on an Orton performance. He didn't put on, what was that, Backlash?
I believe so, yeah.
That match is awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, Goldberg coming to New Japan, the thing that I'm like, obviously, guys, we know it's not happening. He signed a deal with WWE
for the Hall of Fame.
And typically that entails like a long-term-ish like deal with other like appearances and exclusivity, stuff like that. But my fear is that, and this sounds crazy, but I'm not saying he would be like the IWGP champion, but I'm scared that they would make him the IWGP champion.
Like he would be the one to beat Okada's streak.
I don't know, man. Look what they did with Brock in 2006.
All right. Big jacked up Gaijin comes in there and just...
I mean, I know that like Inoki was in the company back then. It's a different time, but still, bro, like it's Bill Goldberg and he's coming from WWF and he was just their world champion. I don't know, man. I feel like they would put him over.
Oh, man. That's the last thing I want to think about.
So, I mean, like, I guess in a way this is kind of like a blessing in disguise that he's not coming here. But that's really interesting. I mean, New Japan thought it might be worth it to, like, pay this dude to come wrestle for them.
That just makes you think, like, who else is going to try and reach out to New Japan and try and get a payday?
Neville.
Yes, hopefully somebody like Neville that can provide a great matchup.
Brian. I mean...
Yes.
Oh my god. Yo, can you imagine a bunch of Japanese people chanting that?
Oh my gosh, it'd be awesome.
They'd be clapping their hands.
Yes.
Be awesome.
Oh man. So last week on the show we mentioned the Australia tour. There are no exact numbers out yet, but the New Japan
for like the pre-purchases.
Yeah, but what we're hearing is the New Japan office is very. They were pleasantly surprised with the advances for the Australia tour, and then this week they officially added Kenny Omega, Switchblade, Jay White, Toa Hanare. And pretty much one day after the announcement of Kenny Omega being on the tour, more than one of the locations was close to being sold out.
Man's hot. The man can always be hot.
That's right.
Bro, like, that dude's a draw, bro.
Yeah, you put Kenny Omega on any show and you're guaranteed to sell out.
Yeah, bro, like, he's a draw. I don't know. You think Super Carbonara's going to sell out?
I think can. I mean, especially if they end up announcing Omega versus Cody.
Or Ibushi.
Yeah.
Oh, man. We're going to be there. I'm excited.
I know. It's going to be awesome.
So that's exciting, you know, that they're really, like, they're loading this tour up. Like, we already talked about all the different guys that are going to be on it. They're bringing their whole A-team. It's not like they're just sending, like, a small contingent of, like, B-list guys and a couple, like, headliners. Like, they're all there. Like, correct me if I'm mistaken, Naito's going, Tanahashi and Okada's going.
Naito's not going to be on the Australia tour because he's going to be in the U.S.
doing his the tour that we talked about. That's right.
Right. But everybody else, all the other...
They got Okada, they got Omega, they got Tanahashi, and pretty much everybody.
So, it's going to be a great tour.
I wonder if they're going to air any of that on, like, New Japan World or anything.
I hope so. I mean, they aired that one match with Okada and Slex, so I'm hoping that they would air this.
Oh, man.
And then, you know... I believe it was last week's show, the show before, we touched on Kota Ibushi being banned from Budokan Hall, and that's where the G1 finals are going to be held.
Right.
And bringing this back up because there's a little bit more details on it.
Tell us what Uncle Dave said.
Yeah, so Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer asked around about the ban still being in effect, and he was told that it should all be worked out.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I did not know that.
Yeah. But he says for some reason, if it can't be, then he probably wouldn't be able to do the G1 this year.
That would suck. That would really, like, that pisses me. Just the thought of, like, not having Ibushi in. Oh my God, that would suck.
Yeah.
All right.
And I mean, we've talked about this before. Like, Ibushi, he's never really been in, like, the finals or, like, the final four of the G1.
I think he did.
Oh, yeah.
I think he was in the finals against Nakamura.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong, or that might have been the semifinals.
But, I mean, he's never really been pushed as a top guy because of the whole contract situation. So he probably wouldn't. Well, this year, he's been being pushed more recently. But so it'd be interesting even if he would be considered to be in the finals.
I mean, I would. I don't know. I don't know if he. It's really. G1 is one of those things where everybody thinks they can. Everyone thinks that they can predict it. You know what I mean? And I'm one of the guys who's like, you know what? I might be able to predict who's going to win it, but being able to predict like who's going to be like in the finals, it's so hard to do. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or like what I just said doesn't make sense. Picking a winner and projecting a winner, that's one thing, but projecting like how the tournament's gonna play out.
Yeah.
It's like trying to like predict like the end, like the Sweet 16 or like the Final Four, like having like your whole bracket be right and all that. It's really, 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 really hard,
Yeah. I also have the exact date of that Ibushi match from Budokan Hall with Kenny Omega. It was actually on my birthday, August 18th, 2012. The show had 10,124 fans.
Yeah, that match is supposed to be incredible.
Yeah, so look that up, guys. August 18th, DDT show from 2012. Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega. The match where Ibushi gets banned from Budokan Hall from doing the moonsault from the balcony.
Okay, I was wrong. You know what? The Nakamura and Ibushi match did happen in the G1 climax at G1 23, but it was on like the fourth day. I just remember the first time I saw that match thinking that like it's so good, bro. Believe it. I know you've seen their Wrestle Kingdom match, of course. We all have, and it's a classic. This one's a classic too. And I remember watching it and thinking it was a finals match. But it's only day 4. That match is awesome. But yeah, so you're probably right. I guess Ibushi never has actually gone to the finals of a G1. So
yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he's going to be able to be in it this year, and how far he goes.
It's actually really interesting, that you bring him up. This is something that SES Scoops was reporting about the other day regarding Kota Ibushi. This past weekend, he worked shows for Ricky Chowshu's Produce Power Hall 2018, and he actually like worked the shows with 102 Degree Fever.
Wow.
Yeah. And so he wrestled at Korakuen Hall. He teamed with Gota Hashi and Ricky Chowshu, why Ricky Chowshu's still working in 2018. I don't know. But they defeated Daisuke Sekimoto, who I think we're going to see him at WrestleMania, which I'm excited about.
Oh, nice.
Taka Michinoku and Tatsumi Fujinami. Another guy. Why is Fujinami wrestling in 2018?
Dude.
And they're actually going to air that show on Samurai TV in Japan. But yeah, like they were talking about like, Ibushi had 102 Degree Fever, and this dude was still doing golden triangles, and he did the sit out last ride. Like, kind of crazy.
Yeah, that is really crazy.
And they said he probably had the flu. Like, so they're like, yeah, it's probably good that a lot of those wrestling fans are wearing those masks.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
man.
like, that dude's crazy. Remember last year when he lit those fireworks off on his chest? Do you see that video?
Yes, I did.
What was that about?
Dude, there are so many Ibushi videos that come up that I ask myself, what was that about?
Yo, Rich, what's up with your boy, bro? Can you just tell us, bro? We love him, but we just want to understand him. We're not judging. We just want to know. Oh, my God. What other news you got, man?
I got the Access TV schedule. So this past Friday on January 19th, they aired the Never Gauntlet, the final match of the Never Gauntlet, plus highlights of the other matches. They showed the tag title match with Killer Elite Squad against LIJ, Sonata and Evil, and Suzuki and Goto, hair versus hair. Then Cody versus Kota Ibushi and Tanahashi versus Jay White will air on January 26th. Omega and Jericho will air on February 2nd. Okada and Naito will air on February 9th. And then the Key Angles from New Year's Dash will air on February 16th.
I keep telling myself that I'm going to watch these Access shows. But after watching Wrestle Kingdom twice, I'm like, do I have it in me to sit through and watch these shows?
You know, Josh, I'm in the same boat. I'm like, they're all recorded on my DVR. I'm like, I should probably watch these Access shows.
But you're not watching it to watch it because you already enjoyed it twice.
Yeah.
You're just watching it to hear someone else different talk at this point and maybe see. The only thing the one thing I will say that's really nice is I wish New Japan. I mean, we all have wish lists. I wish New Japan World would get like actual HD or high def quality because it's coming in. I think it's like 720 right now.
Yeah.
And, WWE comes through like crystal freaking clear. That's the one thing. When you get to watch New Japan on Access and it's like, high def, like on my 4K TV, it's like, it's better actually. But then, you don't get to hear Cyrus, so.
All right. So that's your Access TV schedule for you guys that watch it on Access. Young boy, did you have any other news?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a couple different things to talk about here. Obviously, some of the big news that's coming out this past week, Ricochet and War Machine. So, Ricochet is a former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. He's a former Best of Super Juniors, tournament winner. And War Machine being also two-time IWGP champion and well-known throughout the indies. These guys are indie darlings internationally. Big part of New Japan. They're both officially gone. We knew they were leaving, but it is now confirmed they are at the NXT. They arrived at the Performance Center for WWE this past week. So whether they go to NXT or to the main roster, no one's really sure, but it's confirmed they are part of the universe. So that's official, which I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
On one hand, I'm very excited for those guys. I mean, WWE, regardless of what we think about the product all the time, they are the pinnacle of the industry and everybody's goal is to get there. So I'm happy that they're able to achieve that goal and be able to make more money. But on the other hand, I am very worried about how they are going to be booked and used in their WWE tenure.
I'm terrified. I mean, on the one hand, War Machine's War Machine and Ricochet's Ricochet, and these guys are so talented that if they are in NXT, I'm like, yo, NXT's about to be lit for like 6 months.
Here's the thing. I'm not worried if they're in NXT.
Yeah.
I'm worried what happens when they're on the main roster.
I don't know. There's a part of me where I was like, I never actually feasibly ever thought that like Prince Devitt would not get over in any roster. And after seeing what's happening right now, and wrestling fans can be melodramatic. We see it all the time where guys who are top stars go through lulls, especially in a new environment. But I don't feel like I'm being melodramatic when I say like I think that things have sucked for Balor since he's been on the main roster almost, aside from his initial push. Yeah. And I'm like, what are they doing with this guy? He's money. Like, he's a top star, and they're kind of like wasting him, which sucks. So it does make me nervous and then seeing how Nakamura's been handled, and then like some of the other news coming out, I'm like, is Nakamura even going to be on the WrestleMania card? I know that sounds crazy, but like, and where will he be? Right now, it's like, it's almost starting to look like he's going to be on the freaking,
Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Exactly, bro. I'm like, please, Nakamura, please come back to Japan. When he comes back to Japan, it's going to be incredible. Like, that might be the only reason he actually went to WWE, is just to get hot so that he can, like, cool off, take some time. And
he's on his secret second excursion.
This is his secret excursion. Since we're talking about WWE so much, there was a funny moment tonight where we were sitting there, and there was a match, and a bunch of the young boys were standing around them, and I was like, Jeremy, you ever secretly just want the young boys to rise up and just attack all these fools?
You said like Nexus.
Yeah, like the Nexus. I was like, I want them to like rise up like Planet of the Apes. Just freaking like, no, like Caesar is home. Like, oh my god. So anyways, so that's some of the news coming out. Ricochet and War Machine we will not be seeing them anytime soon gracing the Japanese ring or the Japanese squared circle. They're gone off onto more lucrative pastures.
Yeah.
Aside from that, let me see here. This weekend is a pretty jam-packed show, or jam-packed weekend when it comes to wrestling, just in general. Obviously, the Fantasticamania shows are going on. Caleb Baldwin just messaged me. He said, "Sup, dog." Sup, Caleb. Shout out to you. Love that guy. Anyways, but this Friday, which is, that's tonight. Wow. Okay, so the Great Muta is in action out in California for PCW Ultra. He's going to be tag teaming, and we talked about this before. We're going to get probably like an update and report on, how this match goes. But this is pretty cool because Muta hasn't wrestled in North America for a while, but he's teaming with Pentagon. I think they're going up against Phoenix and John Hennigan.
Okay.
I believe so. Also, Pete Dunne and Will Ospreay wrestled in IPW this past week.
Yeah, we talked about that match was happening last week, but apparently they had a double count out,
which we should have probably predicted because almost every like champion versus champion match from the 80s like ended the same way. So it's kind of a callback to all those great like, Harley Race versus Superstar, or like, Ric Flair versus Rick Martel, like all those great like world title versus champion matches.
Yeah, we really haven't seen like much reports about the match, star ratings, GIFs, videos.
Dude, I've been looking. I mean, I've seen stuff on like Instagram where fans are posting photos with them and their belts, but like, and people are saying it was a great match, but this is starting to feel like the last Battle of Atlanta, like, like it's gonna be years before we see this thing. Like, I want to see Pete Dunne and Will Ospreay wrestle. Like, what the heck?
Right. Which promotion? This was IPW.
IPW, yeah.
Dude, IPW should have sold this match to the WWE Network and New Japan World.
The crazy thing is that there's, sell it to both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and get it on both networks.
Yes. then dub over have each commentary team like dub over the commentary for it.
He's like, they're on that Fanam.
Finesse, yeah.
What does he say? He's like I've combined the art of finessing and scamming from Fanam.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're gonna take, once we get some more word on that, that's gonna we'll let you guys know what we think about it. Hopefully we get a chance to see Dunne and Ospreay. Also, Rev Pro Hive Stakes taking place on the 20th. I believe that's tomorrow night. And members of LIJ like Sonata and Evil are going to be on that show. But the big match is another WWE versus New Japan match where we got Zack Sabre Jr. and the new, freshly bald-headed shaved Minoru Suzuki, who's like entering into his final form, taking on freaking Mustache Mountain of WWE fame. So that's another I want to see that.
Yeah.
So all that's going on this weekend while Fantasticamania is going on. And the UFC and boxing and, our friend Ben Schaefer's wrestling his first match this weekend. What up to Ben?
Yeah, shout out.
But yeah, so that's all happening this weekend. The only last two things I thought were worth kind of mentioning was just an update on the All In show. So we talked about, that it's been announced. We have the date. We don't know the specific location, and we've had some discussion on it. But this week, aside from the people that were already known that were going to be part of it, like Cody and Omega and the Bucks and Adam Page. I don't know if this was reported last week, but I know for sure Stephen Amell.
Yes, Stephen Amell.
From he's on Arrow?
Yeah, Arrow on CW. And he showed up at a Ring of Honor show and was...
is he wrestling now?
I have no idea.
He wrestled that match in WWE. And
right. He did something in a Ring of Honor show. And
he wrestle?
He has a Vigilante Club shirt, and he's a part of the Bullet Club.
That I hate that because he was going against Cody and now they're friends. Guys, please keep kayfabe. But anyways, so he's confirmed. And then very interesting, Tessa Blanchard, one of the foremost women on the indies right now,
and girlfriend of Ricochet.
Yeah, and Ricochet's girlfriend, and love of my life. I love you, Tessa. If you're out there, baby. No, actually,
man, Ricochet lives in Orlando, man. I'm not trying to shoot with Ricochet, man.
Oh my God, for Tessa, I'd risk it all.
Oh, but man, that's the quote of the night.
She has been she's been confirmed for this is supposed to be a serious journalistic news.
Just so you guys know, it's 1 a.m.
It's 1 o'clock right now?
Yeah.
My God. Oh, freaking A. Anyway, so Tessa Blanchard I've already said it 5 times. She's going to be on the show, and we'll give you guys more updates. And then the final thing here is, speaking of finessing, let's talk Jericho.
Yeah, so we were watching Monday Night Raw, and they're doing the,
Whoa. You were watching Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, young boy doesn't watch that crap. I was watching Monday Night Raw, and they're showing all the Raw 25 commercials, and they're showing all these legends that they're bringing back. Next thing you know, Chris Jericho, and I was like, what? Jericho is going to be on Raw 25?
I liked when they were the Alpha.
They didn't say that.
They were recent semi-main event competitor over in New Japan Pro Wrestling, the Alpha, Chris Jericho. No.
Yeah. But yeah, that's wild. Jericho's getting that McMahon money and that Japan money.
But is he going to be there? Because I did listen to Observer, and they said that I guess he is expected to be there, and I guess this deal's been not an actual deal, but the conversation had been discussed for a while that he's going to be on this show.
But nothing's signed on paper.
Exactly. So I'm like, what's going on right now? One thing that's also interesting with this is earlier today, someone tweeted Jericho, and they said something along the lines of, how many people do you think bought tickets because of you, or how many people do you think downloaded, sign up for subscriptions to New Japan World because of you? And he's like, I know I'm one of them. And Jericho just responded, and he said $1.5 million worth. And I was like, what? Did Jericho just tell everybody how much money he made for that match, or for this? Is that how much he's making for the whole agreement?
No, I think that was for that match.
I mean, we don't really know, but that's crazy. This dude's out here stunting on people. He's he's like Fat Joe in the Make It Rain video right now, just throwing the cash everywhere.
I want Jericho to show up to Raw in an Alpha Club t-shirt.
He's not gonna do that.
I don't care. I want him to.
I just wonder how he's gonna get used on. You think they're gonna bury him?
No, I'm guessing he's gonna put somebody on the list. It'll be some backstage segment with a bunch of legends, and you'll have your Farouk being damn, and then Jericho will walk up and be like, you know what happens? You know what happens? Huh? You just made the list. And then, everybody pops, and then we cut the commercial.
Listen, man, if he does that, I'm going to just sit back and drink it in, man. I can't wait. But yeah, I mean, that is something it doesn't sound that consequential, but you got to think, who else in the world can go from being a headliner at WrestleMania and a top star in WWE, and then make a surprise appearance in New Japan. Headline their biggest show of the year with one of their rivals, and then all of a sudden a few weeks later show up on Monday Night Raw while he still has a working deal. He's going to be working dates for their competitor. Who else could get away with that? I don't know anybody else that can get away with it.
I don't think anybody else can. Jericho is just on a whole another level than everybody else. And
our friends over on One Nation Radio, they got the Finesser of the Year award, the Jeff Jarrett Finesser of the Year award. This dude's about to win Finesser of the Year, man.
Yeah, definitely.
He's making money on both ends. But that covers all the news. I mean, I thought this was going to be a slower show, but after that awesome show that we just watched, and
we're still an hour shorter than the last two shows.
Really?
Yeah, we're at hour 33 right now.
Yo, we did it.
That's for you, James Boyd.
Listen, James, you listen to the show on 1.5 speed anyways. It's not like you're actually sitting there through a 2-hour show. And for those of you guys that are listening, we want you guys to listen, but we are on the Podbean app. You should download the app, and it gives you the ability to listen to these podcasts on a faster setting. It's kind of convenient, just saying.
Right. So yeah, however you want to enjoy the podcast, that's up to you. We're on Podbean, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, soon to be on Spotify. Also, you can also find all archives of the podcast on socialsuplex.com. That's our home base. You can also find columns and news and articles up there from all of us. I'm planning on getting some writing done again. I've been slacking off the last few months, but I'm planning on hopping back in the writing game, so check out socialsuplex.com. You can follow our show on Twitter at KI Strong Style. You can follow me at Jeremy L. Donovan. You can always join us in the Wrestling Squared Circle Facebook group to join us for a discussion on all aspects of professional wrestling. And I think that's about it. Eventually, we'll get Josh on Twitter so he can start.
I'm on there,
but you're not active and you don't plug it. So
I don't use it. I don't really care about sharing my thoughts with the world like that. I don't know, man. To me, it's all these people that take selfies all the time. I'm just not a selfie person.
Yeah.
I'm not a tweet person. I don't care about sharing. I don't want to share, bro.
You gotta spread your knowledge to the world, man.
I do on this podcast.
I know, but in tweets too.
I take people under the learning tree.
That's right, you do. You do. That's why I want to call you, when you graduate from being a young boy, Dr. Puro.
Oh my God, I'm going to be a young boy the rest of my life. Speaking of young boy, I got my young boy shirt this week.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I got for you listeners out there, I got the red and white New Japan Lion Mark baseball tee, the one that Kushida wears and all those young boys around ringside, and I love it.
Living the gimmick.
The only thing that's weird, and I feel a little bit duped, I ordered this off Pro Wrestling Tee at ProWrestlingTees.com, and they do great work, and I got a great deal on it. But when the shirt came through, the print is right, but it has a Champions sports logo, the Champions brand.
Yeah.
Are those shirts made by Champions? I feel like they just bought shirts from Champions and then just printed.
Yeah, well, I'm wearing a Rainmaker shirt right now, and it has the Gillian or whatever that brand is t-shirt.
Yo, they're out here finessing, bro.
Pro Wrestling Tees
finessing people, bro. Oh man. And I noticed that the cut of the sleeves, even though the shirt looks great, it doesn't fit and look the way that it does
online.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit y'all out here finamming people.
Yeah. Keep your eyes on those guys.
My God. Stay woke, listeners.
Thank you for listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
Thank you for downloading us. And one last thing, guys. Since we're talking about wrestling t-shirts, again, rate us, leave us a review, and get entered into that prize. Some of you guys are probably listening and you don't think we're actually going to buy you a shirt or that you can't win. There's still time for you to win a free shirt. We will buy you a shirt.
That's right. Deadline is January 31st.
Guys, me and Jeremy are killing it at our jobs, and we're flush with cash. We want to buy you guys a shirt.
Yeah. And also, check out all the other shows on the network. We have One Nation Radio, One Nation Live, the SMC Wrestling Podcast, and the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show from Scotland. All great shows. So subscribe to the Social Suplex Podcast Network. And until next time, goodbye and good night. Bang!